Welcome back to the video. We are doing a full day of eating. We're exactly 9 weeks out. Woke up this morning, had a new low weigh-in of 216 pounds. So I'm going to take you through a full day of eating with carbs. We're going to carb up somewhere in the vicinity of 700 to probably 800 depending on my look and how they progress throughout the day. It's going to be high carbs. I've reduced my protein probably roughly around 180, maybe 200 grams of protein today. I'm going to try to keep my fat somewhere below 40 grams for the day total. This is what the current physique is looking like. Obliques are looking pretty good. Abs are looking really good. So meal number one is going to be a great old big stack of pancakes. These are Kodiak pancakes. I did 3 servings of the Kodiak mix. I also have frozen blueberries, a little bit of chocolate chips in there, and I'm going to be adding a sugar-free syrup on top. And this is gonna wrap up meal number one, and I will see you in meal number two. Meal number two about to go down post-church. We got 300 grams white rice, 5 ounces of ground turkey. I added 1 pumpkin spice bagel from Costco. I also added cinnamon and salt on this. I will be taking some digestive enzymes and some glucose disposal agents, otherwise known as GPAs. This is going to be repeated for meal number 3. So I'm going to chow this down and then I'll catch back up with you at meal number 4. Pre-workout meal is about to go down. We have 100 grams of baby cereal. I have a scoop and a half of vanilla protein. I put some Purely Elizabeth granola in there. We also got some frozen blueberries, dark chocolate chips, and pink salt with cinnamon. So I'm gonna smash this. Look at that close up. And then I'm gonna go train legs. And then I will show you what meal number 4 is. Post-workout meal number 4. Post legs and some extra cardio. 350 grams white rice, 5 ounces of ground turkey, some sweet Baby Ray's sugar-free barbecue sauce, cinnamon and salt, pumpkin spice bagel from Costco, Granny Smith apple. Running a little bit behind on time for the day as I got to get to sleep early. So I'm going to crush this meal, and in probably about 2 hours, I'm going to do another meal for meal number 5. Make that one a little bit more fun, maybe something with my Ninja Creamy and a bunch of fruit. So we'll see where that goes, but I'll touch back in with meal number 5. Decided to add a light snack. We have a Ninja Creamy. I added just 3 frozen strawberries and some chocolate chips and mixed it in. Look at this consistency. For those of you that don't do Ninja Creamies or don't have one yet, this is super prep friendly. This is roughly 40 grams of protein in here. I mix this with a little bit of almond milk, some sugar-free Jello cream cheese mix, and protein powder, cinnamon. That's literally it. And it turned into this, and then I added the mix in, which was less than a serving of chocolate chips and 3 frozen strawberries from Costco. Like, it doesn't get better than that. Step your creamy game up, makes dieting so much better. Gonna have this snack, probably gonna add some granola to it, and then I'm gonna have one more meal and cap it. Final meal, 200 grams of this Chex cereal, a little bit of almond milk, cap the night. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. And the moment you guys have all been waiting for. What is my current stack? Currently prescribed TRT. So I take 200 milligrams of testosterone, cypionate. I do a half an ml or 100 milligrams twice a week. I take that every Monday and every Thursday. Alongside of my testosterone cypionate, I also take a anastrozole. I know a lot of you guys out there have your quarrels with estrogen blockers, but I do use a very, very low dose. I don't aromatize as much as others. I check it with blood work regularly. I will take a 1/4 milligram twice a week on the same days of the injections. On top of that, I use glutathione. Glutathione is a great antioxidant. It is something that will keep you healthy. It'll keep your liver clean. For those of you who are running orals, I highly suggest injectable glutathione if you can get it. And I take this 2 times a week. It's 200 milligrams per injection. Glutathione is such a quintessential part of every prep, whether you're on PEDs or just looking for overall general health. It's a very powerful antioxidant. Injectable is always going to be my tried and true. Obviously, they have oral forms, they have liquid, they have other kinds of things like that you can utilize. It's great for detoxifying the liver. A lot of guys kind of underestimate what the liver is capable of. It's one of very few organs that can regenerate. So keeping your liver in check can kind of make the difference between your body's ability to lose fat or not. If your liver is actually pretty toxic, it's going to be very hard for you to kind of drop weight. This is a great way to do just that. It helps with the detoxification of the liver. It has hepatoprotective properties in it. There's just so much research, and it also helps in just simple things. Even if you're not an athlete who's trying to bodybuild and do all these other things, you can use glutathione for your own immune system and give yourself a big boost. Flu season, things like that. If you're already sick, it's a great way to help your body fight things naturally. So give it a look. I like the injectable. I take 200 milligrams 2 times a week, so 400 milligrams total. And that's a big part of my regimen. As far as like my, I guess, major things that I utilize, my testosterone, my estrogen blocker and anastrozole, and my glutathione. I also use a series of peptides. First and foremost, the GOAT, the Wolverine peptide, BPC TB500. I take this nightly. It helps with the wear and tear. I was training up until just this past week, 7 days a week, but now I've gone down to 6 days a week. This has helped with inflammation, joint pain, muscle recovery. It's been something that has been a huge staple for me. I've also suffered some pretty big injuries to where I didn't need surgery, thankfully, because of, and I want to attribute it to this peptide. I've had 2 mid-muscle pec tears, one on my right, one on my left, and this has helped me come back better than before. I also use BPC oral. This one is going to be primarily for my gut health. I like to use that. There's just a lot of, back and forth, injectable versus oral. I'm just the advocate of if I'm taking something like the peptides or supplements, they're adding to it, the pot, they're not taking from it. So the BPC oral helps with the lining, helps heal the gut, helps with the gut-brain axis. I do notice a big difference. Being a bodybuilder, a lot of us kind of neglect our gut health. Overconsumption of proteins, just a lack of micronutrients, gut biome health. This is a good way to help with things like acid reflux, which is something that I suffer from, which has been a big plague of mine. Also because I use things like tirzepatide, especially in my cutting phase. I'll use like 6 milligrams of tirzepatide per week, and this will help with that process because tirzepatide, GLPs, GIPs, they slow down your digestive tract, which can cause an influx of acid reflux and buildup of acid, which I tend to get. So this has helped drastically with that. I'll take 2 of these at night before bed. That seems to be the sweet spot for me. It's about 1,000 micrograms inside of that. In the mornings, pre-workout, I have 3 peptides that I just recently started using. I've been taking methylene blue. I've also been taking 5-amino 1MQ, and I've also been taking SLU PP332. It's been about 3 weeks or so that I've been utilizing these peptides in conjunction with adding 10 grams of creatine monohydrate, just plain creatine monohydrate, not hydrochloride or any of that fancy stuff. I've added them in at the same time, and I've noticed a huge uptick in performance. I'm sitting at 220 pounds right now. You guys have seen the physique update. I'm definitely bigger. My conditioning is better, and I'm just getting better as the time goes on. I will say, taking the Sloop, the 5-amino 1MQ, and the methylene blue first thing in the morning with my pre-workout drink, which is the Carbolin, some salt, water, and an electrolyte blend, has made a huge difference.
I want to attribute that 100% to these peptides and the creatine that's been allowing me to get leaner while keeping a lot of size and tissue on, because that was the primary focus in this period of time, was to just build some tissue after the first show leading into the second show and see how much I could keep on as I got leaner. We're sitting 9 weeks out and I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. The last two things that I'll say that are part of my stack that are very, very important are digestive enzymes. This is from Amazon. This is also from Amazon. I'm sure there's tons of research that can prove some brands are better than others. I just got the ones that were on sale on Prime Day and they work great. I can say that my digestion has been a lot better since implementing this, and my pumps and muscle fullness and energy and strength and recovery has been better since adding this. The last thing I'll utilize is something like a GDA. For those of you who don't know what GDA stands for, that is a glucose disposal agent. So I incorporate these with my little bit of heavier carb meals. It just helps with insulin sensitivity, blood sugar regulation, shuttling the carbohydrates, and facilitating better pumps when in the gym. So this is my stack. I know a lot of you guys are probably anticipating that I was using some kind of exogenous PEDs. In the past, I had used all that. Coming back into competing and things, I wanted to make it an emphasis of what is fully possible with doing it just with TRT and peptides and proper supplementation and things like wellness injections like a glutathione, B12, stuff like that. And I'm a big advocate of that. I think you can achieve a very, very phenomenal physique if you can just maximize the resources you have, which is the food, the rest, recovery, and the nutrition. And then if you are prescribed some things legally, then obviously maximizing what you're using. And you don't need to go down the routes of like tren, primo. Can those things help? Absolutely. There's a time and place for it all. But I think you can also, a lot can be done without it. So the goal is to build the best physique possible for myself, while using things that I'm legally prescribed and not having to go the underground route. So this is my stack. This is me 9 weeks out, and I will see you in the next one.
Dunzo.
Very nice.